Greetings, Neo-Swedenborgians, with Joan Blondell over my left shoulder and Lucile Ball over my right shoulder. I welcome you to Out of the Blue B, number 114.2. Today I'm going to read from the preface of Spirit Intercourse. Page 9, and it'll be linked below. He says, most of the statements made have been checked and rechecked and verified as far as humanly possible. The days of infallible writers and writings have passed away, though there are still teachers of spiritual law who yield to the temptation of writing in dogmatic language, making it extremely difficult for them later to correct mistakes. But the author does not intend thus to limit himself. He desires heartily to acknowledge his indebtedness to those in spiritual spheres who have cheerfully devoted generous assistance to him in this work, and the book would lack many of its most interesting details but for their kindly labors. One helper especially may be mentioned, his permission having been received. Professor William James, late of Harvard University, America, who has devoted much of his post-mortem state in the study of the geographical position of spirit spheres, and has assisted particularly in that branch of this subject. That's what I wanted to read. So I've mentioned here that the what he calls the spirit spheres, we now call the James Van Allen belts. James Van Allen in 1958 discovered that there was two belts of radioactive energy surrounding Earth. And now in 2012 we have measurements of these belts. And somewhat miraculously, though these Van Allen belts were discovered in 1958 and studied in 2012, here in this book, which I will link below, their structure and dimensions are accurately depicted. And if I read this already, I don't remember. It's only now that I'm noticing that he credits William James, who died in 1910. He credits William James in the spirit spheres with studying this subject. So William James, Harvard professor, died in 1910. J. Hewitt Mackenzie researched this book and published it originally in 1916. And this is the 1917 edition I'm reading from, and I'll link below. And so it states very clearly the structure and the dimensions of what he calls the spirit spheres. It has little anecdotes of the conditions in the spirit spheres. And according to him, it was William James, Harvard University, who helped him with this subject. So we now have a new entire subject, which I'm calling Neo-Swedenborgianism, which is the study of this world, the spirit spheres as described by J. Hewitt Mackenzie and as studied by James Van Allen and others. Thanks. See ya.